Looking to part ways with complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping? Then give your business the edge it needs with USPS Ground Advantage shipping from the United States Postal Service. Keep everything simple with clear, upfront pricing and no unexpected surcharges. Keep things affordable with some of the lowest prices out there. And keep it all reliable with on-time ground shipments. It's time to turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable. This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2747, Losing More Than a Bet by Nick Maggiulli of dollarsandData.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. Welcome back to Optimal Finance Daily, where every day I read and offer commentary on some of the best personal finance blogs on the web in about 10 minutes or less. So with that, let's get right to our next article as we optimize your life. Losing More Than a Bet by Nick Maggiulli of dollarsandData.com. I was supposed to publish a post today called The Most Addicting Game. It discussed my grandfather's troubles with gambling, some statistics on gaming addiction, and had a personal story, all the things that make a good blog post. But before I could hit publish, I got the call. It was my father, and it was 3:02 Pacific Standard Time. He informed me that my grandfather had passed away last night. There have been few moments in life where I've been struck by coincidences so eerie that they seem unbelievable. This morning, I had one of those moments. What is the chance that my grandfather would pass away on the very day that I decide to discuss my family's troubles with gambling? There was no family incident that inspired me to write about this. I actually wanted to write about gambling because of the man who won $1.2 million after betting on Tiger Woods to win the Masters, and then bet $100,000 on Tiger Woods to win the next 3 majors. But now I can't publish that post. I have to publish this one. There are a few things that I will always remember about my grandfather. I will always remember how happy he was to see his grandchildren and how much he enjoyed telling riddles. Every Christmas, I eagerly awaited his new riddles, and he always delivered. One riddle that I remember well was, what goes up a chimney down, but not down a chimney up? An umbrella. But I will also remember that my grandfather loved gambling. He really did. My father and I once estimated that my grandfather gambled away over $1 million in his lifetime. It's sad, but true. When I think about my grandfather's problem with gambling, I often wondered, what kept him going back for another hand, for another horse race? As the saying goes, money won is twice as sweet as money earned. My grandfather went back for the same thing they all go back for, the thrill of effortless money. It's the most addicting game in the world. In my effort to understand gambling, I've come to realize that some people just can't quit. And after thinking about this topic for a while, I now know why. They can't quit because it's easy for them to rationalize their decisions. For example, the man who won $1.2 million on Tiger Woods probably thought that his new $100,000 bet was just house money. Even if he loses it, he's still up over $1 million, and he's probably confident that he could win it all back. He did win that Masters bet, remember? But what if he keeps losing? In that case, it's easy for him to justify taking even greater risks to regain his losses. The cycle continues. Another loss, another justification, another gamble. At every point in their downward spiral, a gambler can rationalize their behavior, even if it's clear that their decisions, taken together, were foolish. It's this process that makes gambling so destructive. In real time, it's hard to notice, but in the long run, you're left in ruin. It's the opposite of compounding. The North American Foundation for Gambling Addiction Help estimates that 2.6% of Americans, nearly 10 million people, had a problem with gambling addiction in 2016. This is roughly 10 times greater than the number of people that used heroin in the same year. And with US gambling losses totaling over $100 billion, Americans lose 5 times more money gambling each year than what they spend on Amazon Prime and Netflix combined. This does not dismiss the role of personal responsibility, but it also doesn't imply that compulsive gamblers are just individuals with self-control issues. The reality is more complex, and with some research suggesting that gambling is partially linked to genetics, it makes it that much harder for pathological gamblers to address their bad behavior. As a result, they'll act in nonsensical ways and then rationalize it. Then again, don't we all? My grandfather's lesson. I was originally going to end this post by talking about the seduction of investing. I was going to talk about how some people say they're investing when they're really just gambling. That is, excessive trading, leverage, etc. Since investing involves stocks and not cards or horses, you can seduce yourself into thinking that you're somehow different than a gambler when you aren't. Just because you call it investing doesn't mean that you're an investor. But after losing my first grandparent, I have to end this differently. I'll conclude with a simple thank you to my grandfather for providing me with a lesson. Even if he didn't realize it, my entire relationship with money was transformed by watching how my grandfather used his. For this reason, I have never wagered a single dollar in a casino or horse track, and I never will. Sometimes the best lessons are the ones that are never spoken. So thank you, Tata, the name I used to call my grandfather, for warning me about the dangers of gambling, even as you fought the addiction throughout your life. I and the future Maggiullis will not forget you. Please take some time today to tell your loved ones that you care about them, because on some days we lose more than just a bet. You just listened to the post titled Losing More Than a Bet by Nick Maggiulli of dollarsandData.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary. Looking to part ways with complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping? Then give your business the edge it needs with USPS Ground Advantage shipping from the United States Postal Service. Keep everything simple with clear, upfront pricing and no unexpected surcharges. Keep things affordable with some of the lowest prices out there. And keep it all reliable with on-time ground shipments. It's time to turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable. It goes without saying that a lot of people don't know where to start when it comes to investing. Many think you need a lot of money to invest. Some put off investing because it doesn't seem urgent. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for your future. You don't need a lot of money or expertise to invest with Acorns. In fact, you can get started with just your spare change. Acorns recommends an expert-built portfolio that fits you and your money goals, then automatically invests your money for you. And I love Acorns because I feel that this type of automation is exactly the boost needed for the many people who like the idea of investing, but haven't felt ready to begin for whatever reason. So head to acorns.com/OFD or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. May not be representative of all clients. Tier 1 compensation provided. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. View important disclosures at acorns.com/OFD. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Please consider your objectives, risk tolerance, and Acorns fees before investing. Acorns Advisors, LLC. Acorns is an SEC registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are provided to clients of Acorns by Acorns Securities, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. For more information, visit acorns.com. While it can be easy to dismiss gambling as financially irresponsible, none of us are immune to addictions or irrational behavior. For example, an aspect of this addiction is falling victim to the sunk cost fallacy. This is the false belief that since one has paid into something, in this case, a high-stakes gambling game, that person should keep paying into it no matter the result in order to recuperate the cost of the initial investment. While a gambling addiction might seem like an extreme version of this, the sunk cost fallacy rears its ugly head in our lives all the time. Think about that dead-end relationship you stayed in for far too long, just because you already invested so many years with the person. Or even something as simple as finishing a book or movie that you started but you aren't enjoying. For most of us, the sunk cost fallacy isn't going to destroy our lives, but there are certainly opportunity costs at stake. The main reason why I raise this is because it can be easier to find compassion for others when there's some understanding or ability to relate on some level. And that's another edition of Optimal Finance Daily. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back with you tomorrow for another post. So I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.